Hi alle sammen, hello everyone, welcome to Learn Norwegian with the NLS Norwegian Language School. In Norwegian, modal verbs play a vital role in shaping meaning, tone and context in narrative writing. These verbs kunne, can, måtte, must, skulle, shall, should, and ville, would enable writers to convey not only actions but also the intent, possibility and obligation behind them. For learners of Norwegian, especially those advancing their studies, mastering modal verbs is key to enhancing both written and spoken communication. In our discussion today, we will explore the importance of modal verbs in Norwegian narrative writing, how they influence storytelling, and why gaining proficiency in their use is essential for advanced learners. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs that expresses necessity, possibility, permission, or intention. They modify the main verb in a sentence, adding layers of meaning and giving more context to actions. In Norwegian, the most commonly used modal verbs are kunne, can, could, måtte, must, have to, skulle, shall, should, was supposed to, ville, would, want to. Modal verbs provide more flexibility in how actions and events are described. Rather than simply stating what a character did, modal verbs allow the author to express what the character could, should, or had to do. In narrative writing, these verbs are especially powerful because they reveal characters' motivations, dilemmas, and conflicts, thus enriching the plot. For learners aiming to achieve fluency in Norwegian, understanding how to use modal verbs effectively is critical. They are indispensable in both everyday conversation and in writing, where they help convey subtle meanings and intentions. One of the key roles of modal verbs in narrative writing is their ability to create tension and suspense. Modal verbs can express uncertainty or introduce outcomes that have not yet materialized, which means readers keep readers engaged and curious about what will happen next. For example, han skulle komme I går, men han kom aldri. Han skulle komme I går, men han kom aldri. Han skulle komme I går, men han kom aldri. He was supposed to come yesterday, but he never did. In this sentence, skulle was supposed to sets up an expectation that something would happen. When that expectation is unmet, it creates suspense and invites the reader to wonder why the character did not show up. This use of modal verbs adds complexity to the story by introducing the possibility of unseen events or obstacles. Modal verbs can also be used to convey a character's internal struggle or hesitation, building suspense within the narrative. For example, hun ville dra, men visste ikke om det var riktig valg. Hun ville dra, men visste ikke om det var riktig valg. Hun ville dra, men visste ikke om det var riktig valg. She wanted to leave, but didn't know if it was the right choice. Here, ville, wanted, reveals a desire, but that desire is tempered by uncertainty or doubt. This not only helps to develop the character, but also introduces an element of tension. Readers are left wondering what decision the character will make. In advanced writing courses, learners often focus on how to effectively use modal verbs to create such emotional and narrative tension. This skill is critical for anyone interested in writing more sophisticated stories in Norwegian. Modal verbs are also essential tools for developing characters in narrative writing. They provide insight into what characters are thinking, feeling, and considering. By using modal verbs, authors can reveal the internal, external pressures a character faces, thereby making their decisions and actions more relatable. For instance, a character who uses the modal verb måtte, had to, conveys a sense of obligation. Jeg måtte fortelle sannheten, selv om det ville gjøre vondt. Jeg måtte fortelle sannheten, selv om det ville gjøre vondt. Jeg måtte fortelle sannheten, selv om det ville gjøre vondt. I had to tell the truth, even though it would hurt. In this example, måtte expresses a strong sense of duty or necessity. The character feels compelled to act, even though the consequences may be painful. This creates a deeper understanding of the character's values and internal conflict, making them more complex and relatable. Modal verbs are also indispensable for expressing hypothetical or conditional scenarios in narrative writing. When characters face decisions or challenges, modal verbs help to set up alternate realities, allowing the author to explore what might happen under different circumstances. For example, hvis han hadde lyttet, ville de ikke ha havnet i trøbbel. Hvis han hadde lyttet, ville de ikke ha havnet i trøbbel. Hvis han hadde lyttet, ville de ikke ha havnet i trøbbel. If he had listened, they wouldn't have gotten into trouble. In this sentence, ville, would introduces a hypothetical scenario that contrasts with the actual events of the story. This allows the writer to explore what-if situations, making the narrative richer by considering alternate outcomes. Similarly, skulle can be used to introduce planned actions that depend on specific conditions. Skulle du trenge hjelp, gi meg beskjed. Skulle du trenge hjelp, gi meg beskjed. Skulle du trenge hjelp, gi meg beskjed. Should you need help, let me know. Here, skulle sets up a future scenario that hinges on whether or not the person will need assistance. These types of conditional sentences are common in both spoken and written Norwegian, and mastering them is essential for fluency. In Norwegian literature, modal verbs often serve as a way to explore these kinds of hypothetical or conditional realities, adding depth to both the plot and the characters. For learners, practicing these structures in writing, exercises, and conversations is key to mastering more complex aspects of the language. The tone and mood of a narrative can be significantly influenced by the choice of modal verbs. Modal verbs can soften statements, express doubt, or convey obligation, all of which affect how the reader interprets the character's action and the overall atmosphere of the story. For example, modal verbs can create a tone of regret or missed opportunity. Jeg kunne ha gjort det bedre, men nå er det for sent. Jeg kunne ha gjort det bedre, men nå er det for sent. Jeg kunne ha gjort det bedre, men nå er det for sent. I could have done it better, but now it's too late. In this case, kunne ha gjort, could have done, introduces a reflective tone, suggesting that the character is looking back on a situation with regret. This adds emotional depth to the narrative as the reader becomes more attuned to the character's inner turmoil. Alternatively, modal verbs like måtte can create a sense of urgency or necessity. Vi må dra nå, ellers kommer vi for sent. Vi må dra nå, ellers kommer vi for sent. Vi må dra nå, ellers kommer vi for sent. We must leave now or we'll be late. The use of must conveys immediate necessity, raising the stakes and creating a more intense atmosphere. This ability to manipulate the tone of a narrative through modal verbs is especially valuable for writers who want to control the emotional pacing of their stories. Advanced learners of Norwegian will benefit from understanding how modal verbs can be used to shape tone and mood, whether in formal writing or everyday communication. In structured writing courses, students practice using these verbs to convey different emotions and tensions effectively. Norwegian literature is filled with examples of how modal verbs are used to explore complex emotional states, hypothetical scenarios, and moral dilemmas. From classic novels to modern short stories, authors use modal verbs to reveal the inner workings of their characters and to navigate intricate plotliness. For example, in the works of well-known Norwegian authors, modal verbs like ville, ville, and måtte are often used to show characters grappling with conflicting desires and obligations. These verbs serve as a tool to enhance both the plot and the psychological depth of the characters, creating more layered and engaging narratives. For learners, reading Norwegian literature is an excellent way to see how native speakers use modal verbs in real-world writing. Analyzing these texts helps to solidify an understanding of how modal verbs function in both simple and complex narrative contexts. Studying such texts is often part of more advanced Norwegian courses, where students are encouraged to analyze how modal verbs contribute to the overall narrative structure and character development. These courses provide learners with a deeper understanding of Norwegian as it is used in literature, which can be particularly beneficial for those aiming to write or translate stories. Modal verbs are powerful tools in Norwegian narrative writing. They allow writers to convey not just actions, but also intentions, possibilities, obligations, and desires, adding complexity and depth to a story. Whether you're writing fiction or formal essays, understanding how to use modal verbs effectively is key to mastering the language. Unlock a world of opportunity and connect with a rich cultural heritage by learning Norwegian from zero to hero with the NLS Norwegian Language School. Our immersive courses and expert instructors guide you every step of the way, ensuring you become fluent and confident in the language. Do you want to learn more Norwegian? We are now offering one free Norwegian trial class. Sign up for a free Norwegian trial class by going to our website nlsnorwegian.no, nlsnorwegian.no,